You're watching WGBH2 Boston, from the station that brings you local depth and local perspective. Now, the Boston Globe's owner John Henry faces the cameras with a new pledge for his newspaper. Plus, CNN gives basketball diplomat Dennis Rodman an outsized platform. Aren't his 15 minutes up yet? And Governor Christie fires an aide, faces the media, and says he's not a bully. The anatomy of political scandal. From the WGBH News studios, this is Beat the Press.
Hello, welcome to Beat the Press on TV and streaming online. I'm Emily Rooney, and I'm joined by a panel of television, radio, and digital journalists here to offer their insights and analysis into the week's biggest media stories. We begin with a dirty political trick on a scale that made even the press skeptical. Who would intentionally create a massive traffic jam at the George Washington Bridge? But that was the rumor that turned out to be true, and it all unraveled this week. Early on, New Jersey's Bergen Record got wind that political dirty tricks might have been behind a 4-day traffic jam on the New Jersey side of the George Washington Bridge. The rumor festered until emails surfaced linking the snarl to aides of New Jersey Governor Christie.
Got a call from my communications director at about 8:55, informing me of this story that had just broken on the Bergen Record website. I was blindsided yesterday morning.
And innocent, insists Christie, but a skeptical press is having a field day, likening this dirty trick to the infamous Watergate scandal.
Will Bridgegate take its toll on Governor Christie? He sure wasn't getting an easy pass at his press conference.
And like Watergate, some predict that what might seem like a low-level dirty trick could go all the way to the top.
I was governor for 8 years, and I was a very hands-on governor, like Governor Christie. My deputy chief of staff, whose desk was 25 feet from mine, would never have done something like this without my clearance.
And plenty of regular people aren't buying it either.
You can't tell me since September, when they had this problem, he had no clue what was going on.
I don't really believe him. Nixon claimed no knowledge also.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave.
I'm heartbroken about it.
This is kind of funny because the Bergen Record heard these things, but it's hard to smoke out something unless somebody is offering you the proof. And the idea that somebody, I've never heard of such a thing, an intentional traffic jam, really makes you wonder. Gets you skeptical about some of the jams we've seen around here. Is that a regular political trick? Is that a tool that these guys have used in the past? But turns out the Bergen Record was right.
I got a kick out of Christie saying that he was blindsided by this, like he couldn't have seen it coming. I heard audio, I believe from WNYC, of a press conference a few weeks back when he was asked about these allegations, and he kind of laughed him off. He said, oh yeah, I was the one working the cones on the bridge. Yeah. He couldn't have been blindsided. He knew that this accusation was out there. It's easy to dismiss people who offer conspiracy theories about the misdeeds of power, but this is kind of a good reminder that power is capable of some serious abuses and that claims are usually worth checking out, you know?
Yeah, first of all, great job by the Bergen Record. There's been several good media accounts. I'm glad to see other media taking note of that excellent local journalism, digging. And one piece I saw that pointed out that the Bergen Record is that rare example of a local daily, part of a larger chain, that hasn't been stripped bare by rapacious ownership. So this is what you get for your money. But I think this is worse than Watergate, in the sense that Watergate was about Richard Nixon and his scummy campaign operatives trying to hurt their political opponents. Here we have Christie's scummy underlings trying to hurt New Jersey citizens, and in one case potentially leading to the death of a woman. So this is really bad. I don't think the coverage of it has been overblown. I know that's one of the things you wanted to talk about. I think, if anything, the press has got to stay on this hard, because where there's smoke, there's fire, and I don't believe Christie either, for that matter.
All right.
Well, you know, one thing that struck me about this, first of all, the difference between traffic jams here and traffic jams elsewhere is that elsewhere they're a bug. Here they're a feature. They're kind of built into the mix. You know, I agree that the press has done a very good job on this story. What I'm not crazy about is the endless media speculation as to whether Christie is lying or not about his advanced knowledge. Keep digging, keep reporting. I think we'll get an answer to that, whether he was or not. But this idea of saying, well, he must be lying, I think that's an unseemly thing for the media to be engaging in, and it makes me very uncomfortable.
Yep, that's exactly where I come down. I agree with John in that there hasn't been too much coverage of this. This is definitely worthy of all of the coverage. But at the same time, and maybe because I'm Pollyanna, he seemed believable to me, and I don't think that there should be headlines saying, he lied, he's terrible, he's whatever, until such time as you have the facts. I think the Bergen record has gotten us on the road to seeing that there was some scummy stuff happening. We've identified 2 of those people. I still want to know who's behind those tweets or those emails that said the horrible things about the Fort Lee mayor.
Right.
We've not identified who those people are.
There's a document dump coming this afternoon. It's
I mean, look,
pages,
I'll endorse the notion that these tabloid headlines of pathetic liar, that's over the top, but that's what what you're getting when you buy the Daily News. But I think reporters and journalists should remain highly skeptical. Guilty till proven innocent in a case like this, especially when these FOIAs are resulting in documents. These are Port Authority documents, emails back and forth with names redacted. What is this? The Pentagon Papers? Let's see those names.
And if you have a former governor who will say, I would have known exactly what my chief of staff or deputy chief of staff was up to when I was governor, it's reasonable to have that vantage point there, too.
What about all the speculation about his presidential ambitions? Is that fair game, too? I think it is.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, because this could blow him out of the water. I mean, listen, if he was lying about this, he is done, period. Let's not even talk about presidential.
I think the press conference did him in on itself, even if it turns out he's telling the truth. It was over the top. The 2 hours going over the same material.
But it wasn't his fault he was going over. He was being asked the same question.
He was unhinged.
I don't know. I've read that Putin once did a 6-hour press conference, so he's got a ways to go to meet that record.
Well, it makes you concerned about what's in store for us if he ever is elected president.
In fairness, I have to say, the man would say something like, I walked in here with a blue suit, and the first question was, are you wearing a blue suit? So he had to repeat stuff because people are not listening.
Well, that's a PR tactic. Take all the questions at once, exhaust the press so that it's not the death of 1,000 cuts over the ensuing days.
All right, listen, I don't think this is going to be the last of this story.
No.
Right. Okay.